Hello.
Hello.
Another episode.
Yes.
Another week, another bunch of stuff that has happened. Some considered good, some considered bad. So, yeah.
There we go.
What do you want to talk about, Jim?
Um,
Do, do,
well, I think we could talk about the king and queen's visit.
ah, the Dutch royal family going to the US
Yeah.
to sleep in the White
And
House.
eating a Dutch meal.
Wait, what was the Dutch? Was it an actual Dutch meal or was it just
It was. It was literally it was
what
the
was
most
it?
Dutch thing ever. It was
Was it just meat, vegetables, potatoes?
no, it was what was it? I don't know what this fish is it just called tonguefish? Is that what it's called?
No, I
It was spinach soup and a Dutch fish
common soul.
and a cola light.
Why?
I
Why not
don't
just
know.
water?
I don't know. Oh, because it's America, so they don't have water. Cola comes from the tabs.
Yeah.
I need to assassinate someone real quick. But
And
so they did that.
yeah,
I don't know if they actually like talked about anything.
I'm not sure either. Probably. Yeah. And some probably talk about a bunch of politics, and Trump probably started ranting about Israel and all that stuff and Iran, as he
Probably.
does.
Very plausible.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just wondering. He's almost 80 at this point. I feel like there should actually, in order to keep politics fresh, we should put a age gap or age not age gap, age limit on politics. Basically, are you over this age, then you are not allowed to partake in any political position anymore.
Maybe.
Because that way, you keep it, you prevent entire governments turning into like elderly homes with 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds, 70-year-olds. That way you
No,
can
that would be discrimination.
somewhat, yeah, it would be excluding a certain amount of the population, yes.
It
However,
would be discrimination against the incompetent.
yeah, I do not see the issue.
That it's illegal.
If you put an age limit on any political position, then like the limit can be like, oh, you have to, you know, let's make it fair. Let's make the age limit on political positions the retirement age. So you still, I mean, at some point we looked it up at work. We actively have to work till we're 70.
Yeah.
That's where our limit will be.
Yeah.
So that way, if you are like either between like 60, if you're like 65 or 67 and, or older and you've reached your retirement age, then you get your envelope of, like, here, have some money, have fun, bye. You're not allowed in here anymore unless you're watching a debate, which you can, in theory, do within the Netherlands. You can just watch a debate happen. If anything good will happen is another thing, but you'll just be watching politicians act as children. That's probably what will happen. This is what I'm predicting will
Yeah.
happen. Because, yeah. Also, our most right party that we have here? FAD.
Yeah, that was gonna actually also be what I will bring up
Well,
next.
with the local elections, they've grown significantly. However, nobody wants to work together with them for the simple reason of they
That was
the,
nothing I was gonna bring up actually.
the past of some of the
Oh, we're talking about
politicians.
that. Right.
Yeah, a lot of, like, people don't really want to work with you if you were part of a very right extremist group in the past. Because people will see, like, oh, you're basically putting yourself in the same group as Germany in the 1940s. Yeah, let's not do that. And then nobody wants to work with you, and then the party sort of falls apart. E.
No, I was gonna. I thought you were gonna talk about how our other right wing party is now the one that made the immigrant thing less strict.
Well, and the parallel line with the laws basically already being somewhat implemented through Europe.
Yeah.
Because the PVV, basically a right wing party, really wanted to crack down on immigrants because, of course. So they made some laws that would actually make it illegal to help them. Like, for example that they gave, you could not give them a bowl of soup
Yeah.
because, well, first of all, the one thing that surprised me, actually, they actually made it illegal to be here illegally, which I didn't understand why it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one thing that I can agree on. Like, if it's illegal, why isn't it illegal? Then you're just legally allowed to be here. So that happened, but then they said, well, because that person's here illegally and you are helping them, you are also involved with it. You've become an accomplice. So they removed that. They also, I think, what else did they remove? They removed like one other major thing.
I don't remember the specifics, but it was like the. So the previous government made supposedly the strictest, you know, thing ever for that.
Yeah.
And now the other party, now the party that made that is the one that made it less strict.
Yeah. You know, they actually made it in such a way that their own party I think, was against it.
Yeah.
I think the part about helping them, making you criminally involved as well. I think that part got, when that part crossed out, that's when they started like, whoa, but we don't want that. We're not going to vote on if it's that weak. And today, the day of recording, Tuesday, April the 21st, the first chamber, we have basically two chambers where when a law needs to be passed. The first goes to the second chamber. Then that's when 150 people. That is the most well-known one. That's when, the law gets like first introduced, and they debate about it, and if the majority can agree on it, then it will go to the first chamber. That's when, I think, how many, like 75 in total? It's a lot smaller, and has different party
Yeah,
sizes.
Yeah.
Like the biggest party in the second chamber might not be the biggest one in the first. The first one isn't really well known. It really flies under the radar
It
with
is
a lot of
with the
people.
companies, actually.
With the companies? Yeah, because a law after them, a law is then passed. Like if the second chamber can agree on a law, then it goes to the first chamber, and if they can agree on the law, then it's allowed to happen. And I think the king has to sign it, but it's just more of a formality than anything else. Because the Dutch king is basically just a figurehead.
Yes.
He's just there to present the country or represent the country, and that's it. He has basically no political power.
Wait, when is his birthday? Is that this week? Hold on. 25,
It's
right?
wasn't it 27th? I mean, we're celebrating on the 27th.
Right, because it's my brother's birthday on the 25th.
When was he born? Age 7 is born on the 27th of April, so yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The 2 days after this episode has gone up,
Yeah.
it will be his birthday. He's from 1967.
Yes.
So he's 58, and I think he will be 50. He'll be 59 this year. And then, yeah. So the Dutch are gonna be celebrating it by selling their shit, so it can become other people's shit that they'll then just eventually throw away. Because here in the Netherlands, it's tradition where if you were on King's Day and King's Night as well, which basically is turned into a second King's Day because you only have to start like 5 in the afternoon, but ours starts at 7 in the morning. The selling of stuff.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about that is, you might stop one of them. But by the time you've stopped one of them,
Yeah.
10 others have put their shit down. So either you spend your entire police force policing the streets to prevent people from selling stuff, which would take a humongous effort and just wouldn't work because it would be a continuous running around. Because you start your round, and by the time you've reached that point again, you're at square one. There is no winning there, and you're allowed to sell your stuff. You're allowed to put a tarp down, put your like you basically rummage through your attic or something like, oh yeah, one of this is like too good to throw away, but I don't want to like I want to get rid of it, but I don't want to throw it away. So you sell it for cheap. It's even cheaper if you go later because people want to get rid of it. So you have that, which will be great. It would be great fun to walk around there and just take a look at all the stuff that people sell. Although over the last few years, I have noticed that like 5 to 10 years ago, it was all cash money. Like you just bought like $10 in coins with you and then just spent it, or not, depending on if there was if there was anything good. You're not going to do that, of course. But over the last couple of years, we've been noticing that it gets more and more digital. Like, it's basically just make a payment request, show the QR code, money gets transferred. Well, it's been a few years in my life that we haven't actually sold stuff. Usually we'd just be selling stuff and be out there selling, just it involves a lot of sitting and people watching. That's fun as well. You're just sitting on a foldable chair in the back, just like, yeah, people. And me being a guy, as a kid, I have toy cars, selling that, and it is actually kind of nice to see like a 4-year-old get really excited in a way that you got excited as well about the same toy car. Which I guess is one of the good things that can happen.
I played guitar.
Wow.
Actually, I mean, also, I had like a great idea. So, you know how our anthem is like really long, but
If
no
you
one knows it?
if you play all of it, yes. Like I think we played the first and the sixth verse.
Something like that. So I was wondering, Reed,
Yeah.
if you start singing it on King's Day, but you sing the first verse, which is what we normally sing, and then the second one, and then you start changing the text. How long would it take people to realize? And you make it like more and more ridiculous as it goes on. I mean, how long would it take people to realize that that's not how the song goes?
As long as you like, if you keep the first verse the same, it's probably gonna take a really long time. Also, speaking of our national anthem, they recently found a very old version from 1905.
Oh.
At that point, it wasn't. I think it became our national anthem around like 1932. So,
Is it not older than that? I'm pretty sure it's older than that.
well, they found a version on like I think a roll from 1905, and they just happened upon it, and yeah, it became our official song in 1932. So it was before. Also, it's a recording from over 120 years ago. But because it is one of those rolls, it does wear down. So they're going to play it once, like on I think when was this? On Friday, they're gonna play it once,
Okay.
and not anymore because each time they play it, it gets slightly more damaged, and they don't want that. They want to preserve it. It's gonna be digitized, so yeah. But
Okay.
it's yeah. We have we found old stuff. Also, I have some surprising news when I read it. It happened like yes yesterday. So on Monday, like 10 minutes past 11, the article that Tim Cook, CEO of Apple,
Yeah.
is going to step down.
Oh.
Yes.
Um. Okay.
And John Turnus is going to take over, and he is
John Turnus.
yes.
Do we run out of planet ideas?
No, but he is going to take
Hey, we
over, and
discovered a new planet. What do we call this one? Just John.
is head of R&D. So we might actually get more innovation from Apple, apart from here have less ports. Like that's a downward trend that I do not like about laptops. Give me the USB ports. Give me the HDMI. Give me a CD DVD player built in. Make it big, make it chunky, make it heavy. Like sure, lightweight laptops are good for business people that never do a single day of hard work in their lives apart from sitting in a car, sitting behind a desk, and carrying a lightweight laptop with them. I mean, that would be. I feel like it would actually be fun to put like people that are not used to certain work environments into those work environments to see how they like it. Or even if they like it, you might find out that a banker who is not happy at his current position really loves building shit and switches careers. And it also teaches respect because apparently we don't do that anymore, and actually experiencing what someone else has experienced makes it a lot easier for people to have respect for others. You know, if I said if you put a banker like the shoes of a construction worker and let him get up at like 5 to be at work at 7 after driving an hour, and leave at like 4.
What are these archaic words you are speaking?
It's very close to what I've done at some point, and what is still going to happen a lot more at work. I have to wake up at like 5:30, getting picked up at 6, on location at 7 a.m. and then just work until like 3 or 4, and then leaving again. Is it an
Okay.
experience? Yes. Is it actual somewhat interesting work to do? Also, yes. Say what you want, but actually being on a construction site, you have to wear your safety equipment. However, it can be a lot of fun. And you have to, of course, take into account that not everybody is going to like it. or is going to be capable of doing it. Not everybody has the physical endurance. Although generally any other person, like a normal person, could do what I do. So basically, you check communications to see if everything works. And on a big construction site, that's a real team effort from multiple companies, which is like, let's say I find some electrical stuff that isn't working because they've they're not crimped the cable correctly. Well, then I give them a call saying, "Hey, can you send someone over here? There is something that doesn't work." And then they come up there with a ladder. They get on it. They check above the ceiling. Yep, doesn't work. Or you explain how that it doesn't work. They check stuff. They get it working again. You check communications. It works. You go on. Everybody goes on. That's how that works. But yeah, if you give people experience, or I feel like some people also don't experience the product that they design. This is why you should let engineers do the designing and not some designer or architect that doesn't know physics or maintenance. I've seen a bunch of content on how car mechanics hate modern cars in the sense that you basically have to almost pull the engine out to do any proper maintenance on it.
Eh,
Like, oh, you want to change the timing belt? Have fun pulling the engine out. Like
that's fine.
you basically make it impossible to work on. Not just, or at least not without spending a minimum of like $3,000 in labor, which is, you know, we need to bring back the simple stuff. Like it makes like there's an acronym called KISS, which stands for Keep It Simple, Stupid, which is
Yes, I know.
which is something that is necessary to say to some people. Some people just make it way too complicated. Like there's a thing called feature creep, where you design a simple thing, then realize, oh, I can add that to it. Oh, I can add that to it. Oh, but what if I add this to it? And then you end up with too many features that make the project go way oversized, probably way over budget as well. If you just keep it simple, maybe add like one or two features, and keep it at that, then it'll all be okay. Yeah, that's a short rant about how design sucks these days. It just does. But
Yeah, fair.
you had something to talk about here.
Yeah, we have good news.
Good gaming news.
Uh, yeah. I mean, good gaming news is good news.
That is true.
Uh, uh, freaking, what do they call it again?
Stop killing games.
Stop killing games. Yeah. The people have talked,
Well,
and they reacted positively. For those who don't know, um, that would be actually be quite impressive if you don't know
where they
what
talk,
the
where they talk about in the EU or in the US.
EU, like the European yeah,
Yeah,
European Parliament.
yeah. Because that's actually quite a big thing as well. Because even though the US is a big market, EU is also quite a big market.
Yes.
Stop killing games. It is what it says. And it's all because what studios have started doing is make everything online, even the single player part. And that works perfectly fine until they shut down the servers because, the game got old.
Yes.
And then all of a
Yes.
sudden, you can't play your game anymore. It's removed from your Steam library, and people are left wondering, where did it go?
Yes.
So there was a petition started to, have the government talk about it. At first, it really wasn't going far. It wasn't really doing anything. But then a certain YouTuber by the name of Pirate Software started talking about it, got it completely wrong. A bunch of drama surrounded that, which made it gain popularity. People started looking into it. Other creators started talking about it, big ones as well, which made it gain a lot more traction. Pirate Software, by the way, it's a whole other drama. You should really look into that if you haven't. He
Yeah.
basically refused to admit he's wrong and just doubles down continuously.
Yes.
It's hilarious. Like everything he
But
said, everything he made himself out to be was wrong.
yeah, pretty much.
But he worked at Blizzard for 7 years.
Yeah.
He really thinks that's going to save him.
Oops.
Wasn't that a
Well,
position he only came in because of his? He only got into because of his dad.
pretty much. Yes.
So a nepo baby as well. It just gets funnier.
Yeah, but he'll ban you if you say that. He'll brag about it himself, but he will ban you if you say it.
Yeah, he got really popular. I think YouTube Shorts just launched him into popularity.
Yes.
Like you couldn't go a single minute without scrolling without seeing a short about him telling you to make games. There were some inspirational quotes around, so for motivation it was good, but the more stuff that came out of his mouth, the more things he did, it slowly unraveled. Amidst all that, I still have in my Google Docs, I still have the images, the pictures of TwitchCon where I didn't know the drama surrounding him at first. So I was like, oh, it's Parasite, I'm going to meet and greet with him. And after that, yeah. So I wonder, because I'm going to TwitchCon this year as well, which creator I'm going to take have a meet and greet with, which is going to have a whole lot of drama afterwards. I wonder if I'm some sort of bad omen.
Jewel, the death of content creators.
Yes. Yeah, I really hope that Stop Killing Games becomes like it. It basically has
Oh,
to become law that if a
they
game,
reacted positively. So
yeah, but in order for game studios to comply, you basically have to make it mandatory by law to
yeah.
actually have to be like, if it's single player, it has to be available offline, and if you want multiplayer, you can host your own servers, because community servers are a great way to sustain a game long term. Look at Minecraft. Look at Team Fortress 2. You can easily host community servers and just vibe there. It doesn't have to be run by the game. It's also bad if the game has to run everything. And it's something I've noticed as well, which is also a great way to warn everybody about cookies again. Because I found the new longest time cookies were active, which I declined. 1,800 days. Well, a little bit over, actually. Like 1,832 days. And it resets each session that they are allowed to collect your data. 1,800 days. Hold on, let me actually calculate how many years that is. Like 832 divided by
Quite a
3.
few.
Basically, a 5 year cookies for 5 years after you've opened like a game for the last time. So let's say you download a game, you accept the cookies because you're not thinking about them, and and then you like a half a year later you delete the game because you're not interested in it anymore, or after a minute because it's a one of those very crappy AI made games, pretty much, or there's like games that you see in the ads, and now there is a now they're allowed to gather your information for 5 years,
Yep.
and you can't do shit about it.
Actually, you can. Well, kind
Well,
of.
you can decline the cookies.
Yes, and you have like subscriptions that will
Yeah, they will get.
remove your information from other people.
Yeah, which at some point might actually be smart to take for like a month. You know, just long enough so they can get rid of all my data, and then I just cancel the subscription and let it pile up again, and then have it deleted again, and then do it that way, hoping that that actually works. It probably won't, but I can try. It is. I mean, that's why I'm slowly planning on moving away from digital stuff and more into the analog stuff again. Like, or if I want to do stuff like with technology, like I'm not gonna go full Amish here. That would just be useless. No hate towards the Amish, just I still want to use technology. And with that, I would still be able to use technology, and it will just be less, and things like going to a actual camera instead of using your phone as a camera, which either they're pretty high quality these days. Having a normal camera can actually, that isn't connected to the internet, and keeping an. I'm half tempted to use my laptop because the Wi-Fi chip's busted. To just delete almost everything off of it, like do a fresh Windows install, and just put all my photos on there and keep it offline. Like, oh, I'm gonna have to put a batch of photos on there again. Then just slowly put more photos on there until it accumulates, and I have to clean it out because like the more you go offline, the less people will be able to like sure they'll be able to find some data on you, but you know the rest will have to be Because that's also a funny thing, right? People are scared that the government is tracking you, but still have a phone. That thing has microphones, cameras, a whole lot of sensors,
Yeah.
and people are just like, yeah, sure, as if they aren't available to use as well. With all the data, especially with all the data leaks in the last couple of weeks that we have here in the Netherlands.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
We had a first with
There was another
Odido with
one.
we had basic fit, and I think
Yeah,
which
that's
was
that's the new one.
yeah, but I think there's been another one already. Like there have been multiple, but not all of them are, of course, picked up on by the media. So that's why it would be smart to like not be fully on like ba- basically the best way to go is to have business to nothing online. Like it with how it is these days, you can't go fully offline anymore if you want to do anything unless you want to be paid in cash, which you can't use it anywhere anymore. Some people only accept card, which I find kind of weird.
I don't.
I mean, card is convenient. However,
Like, I don't carry any physical money.
I in one of my bags have a wallet with some money, but it's mainly just for like emergencies. Like, oh no, my my wallet that's in my pocket got stolen. Oh well, I still have some spare cash to make it home or get somewhere. Like the emergency stuff. Or if you have people that one of those how do I I'm not sure if they have them anywhere else in the Netherlands. The hold on. What are those things called, Jimmy? Help me here. Those basically things that make music in a city with the guy standing next to it shaking like a little thing, a cat of like coins. What is it called in English? I'm also struggling to find it. A barrel organ.
Oh, those things. Yeah.
Yes, like maybe for that. So they still have some cash in their tins to shake around on the beat. Those things. I'm not sure if it's a purely Dutch thing. It's a French mechanical musical instruments. So it's French of origin. It is, all around the world where you just have like music playing throughout a city, and it does add a lot to the atmosphere. Anyway, what other stuff has happened in on the news? Let's see.
Well,
Our electrical grid is full. Like Utrecht, one of our biggest
surprise.
city, is not going to accept any more connections. after the 1st of July. So basically, they're going to pause, like, because our electrical grid is so, underbuilt, like, it really needs upgrading. However, what now happens is that they're going in the city, they're going to put a halt to any new connections, the light ones as well as the heavy ones. So from like your house to like full built for like apartment buildings, apartment complexes, all of those are going to be halted just so they can, catch up on it, fortify, like, get the electrical grid stronger, and have a little bit more. You, you can do a lot of the work without having to worry about, oh, we're gonna have to do a couple of connections here, a couple of connections there. You just focus on making it stronger, focusing all your workers on that, and then have it knocked out. But we have that. What else do we have?
Well, uh, the unknowingly situation. Because, unknowingly is, is the creator of, what's it called again? The Man in the Suit. Which is an analog horror series, and it's pretty popular. But he also got a lot of criticism on it, and he posted on Twitter that he was going to off himself because he felt he didn't have worth in the world and that no one like that he was just a burden to people. And then we didn't hear something for a couple days.
People assume the worst.
Yeah, and then he recently came out saying he'll be fine. He got out of a mental hospital. So yeah. I I hope you'll be fine.
Yeah. But did he do it because he got that much criticism?
I think there was more. There was also more in his personal life. At least that's what it came across like to me.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it can definitely be a thing. Like, if you get a lot of criticism for what you do, it's going to be tough. If everybody keeps saying you're trash, you should stop, don't do, you should quit doing it, then especially over time, you're just going to start thinking that as well. It creeps into your mind, you start thinking it as well, and then you either quit life, or you know, try and work around it either through therapy or any other way to get you back on your feet again. All because some people can't mind their own business and have to. I mean, in some cases, of course, some criticism is necessary, but then it's universal. Then you just get hate all around. Like Formula One has gotten over the last months of the of the year because of crappy rules. Like then people start to complain, and if everybody's complaining, then you do something. But if it's just a small group, it's often a very small and very loud group that is doing it, or the group gets bigger because other people are doing it as well. So before you go and hate, please take into account how the other person is affected, how the other person actually is, and with all of that in mind, if the hate is actually deserved. And only if you can basically, if you tick the box if the person isn't nice, you know, there is a whole lot of other stuff, and the content is like where stuff that they make is really bad. You can also have constructive criticism, or give them, or instead of forming it as hate, give it as feedback. Instead of saying it's bad, give tips on how they can improve. I'm not saying you can improve by stopping. That doesn't work. But give like small tips, give hints, just help. Because more often than not, it could just literally be a skill issue.
Well, with his stuff, it wasn't, at least from what I know, it wasn't about the quality. It was just that people are a bit too much into Godzilla.
Yeah. Didn't I talk about this last time as well?
Maybe.
Where
Speaking of Godzilla, though,
where people often start hating on the stuff that they love because they get way too deep, or start hating on everything else because they're way too deep in
oh
one
no,
thing. And as
we
soon as
talked about that recently, just together.
I think we talked about it on the last podcast as well, because it involved
Did
the
we?
Amazing Digital Circus,
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right.
and how if you're too deep into it and the creator starts doing things with their own creation, it's like being mad that another person drives a car. Like, not just drives good or bad, just drives a car in general. Like, that's none of your business. And if you don't
Yeah,
like it, don't watch it. Or,
but
as I said before, if you don't like where it's heading, but you have your own story in your mind, go work that story out, post it somewhere. But don't go hate on the creator. Yeah, what do you want to say, Jim?
well, speaking of Godzilla, there was a trailer for Godzilla Minus Zero, which is the sequel, of course, to Godzilla Minus One. And I will say, minus zero, it does not exist. That's not a number. Like that's mathematically impossible. Also, it looks pretty cool. I like minus one. It's actually a really good movie. Um, and it kind of brought Godzilla back to being like what he originally was, which is like like a manifestation basically of the fear of nuclear bombs and testing and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, because
A,
after that, of course, he kind of became a big monster fighting other big monsters because it's cool.
you know, a well expected fear coming from Japan.
Yes. The original movie actually references a real incident. But
I don't want to know how many nukes
but
the US has lost.
yeah, lost. Yeah.
It's called a broken arrow when they've they're testing stuff and like a nuke goes missing.
But wait, where the fuck? No, but yeah, it looked pretty cool. But I am a little concerned. I do hope they're not making it another movie where he's just fighting monsters because you just brought him back to what he was originally. Um. Also, I should really watch Shin Godzilla because that one also did that, from what I know. But I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
And also, there was a trailer for Spaceballs.
Baseballs 2, the new one.
Spaceballs 2. Yeah.
And
It's not even Spaceballs 2, the new one, actually. It's just Spaceballs, the new one.
that is actually way better because that means that it is just they're not gonna do like space the 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5 and then 6. It's just gonna be
I mean, they totally still can.
yeah, but it's better to just have the titles.
But for the people who don't know what Spaceballs is, it's an old movie. It's like a 40-year-old movie now. And it's a parody on Star Wars.
Yes.
Um, and they I almost wanted to say George R. R. Martin. That's not who it is. George Lucas actually gave permission to make the movie. It was made like right after the first, like the original Star Wars trilogy. And
Yes.
so he gave his permission and even gave them some of the equipment from the Star Wars set, which meant they could make something that looks way higher budget than what they actually had.
There is an actual in the first movie. If you want, if you're really interested in watching it, there is a Millennium Falcon cameo. You can
Yeah,
spot it
yeah, the Millennium
somewhere
Falcon's
within
there.
the
But
movie.
there's a lot of references to other movies and to other yeah, just other brands as well. Like there's one character just named Colonel Sanders. But the whole movie is just stupidity start to finish. There's no logic. It's the
Well,
dumbest humor ever.
there is a plot line, and that's where it ends.
Yeah, there vaguely is a plot line.
Like, wasn't it also part of the deal that they weren't allowed to make
Yes.
merchandise?
Yes, they were
Which
not
they
allowed to make merchandise because it would look too similar. I think there were exceptions because there is merchandise, but so the whole movie is just filled with fake merchandise.
mainly being Spaceballs the and then insert random object here.
Yeah.
Like,
And
if you know the
it's
movie, you
getting a
could.
sequel now.
Yes, the trailer was just funny.
But it wasn't actually the first trailer. There was another trailer earlier as well, but like a teaser kind of thing.
Yeah, but this one is actually with Mel Brooks, creator
I
of
think
the
the
original.
I think the other one was as well, but I might be wrong.
But the funny thing is, how he said they were. I'm just gonna spoil it because there aren't any movie spoilers in there. This they said it at first, like in the first movie. I mean, I'm gonna spoil the first movie a little bit because it's a 40-year-old movie.
You can spoil it. You're about to spoil it. It's whatever, man.
But they basically said, "See you in the next movie." Like the summer says, I guess we'll see you in the next movie, like Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. And in that trailer, we aren't going to call it The Search for More Money because we found it. It was in my basement, and then it pans to a bag of money and on it says Spaceballs the money.
Yeah.
And the reason they're calling it the new one,
Yeah.
because people are going to say, when are you going to make the new one?
Yeah, when were you making the new one? Well, it's here. The new one.
Which he was saying that it would be exactly like the old one, but new. So it wouldn't be a surprise to me if they just copied the old movie.
No, they definitely didn't. I mean, it would be actually it would be funny if it was like a very similar plot line.
Basically a modernized version of the first movie.
Remade for modern audiences.
Remade
Oh,
for modern
I hope
audiences.
not. I hope
And
not.
and the only difference being that it's now available in 4K.
Yeah.
Like we've improved the image quality. Now it's made for
I
modern audiences.
really hope they have very little CGI in this. Just use practical effects just to stick with the original. I mean, I also just prefer practical anyway, but also just because to stick to the original.
It would be hilarious, yeah. Just it's such a great movie. For what it is, they just there's so many just jokes and random things like combing the desert.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you
You
fill
find
that one in. Just
something? I ain't found shit.
yeah,
There's a clip of that actor being like, I played this role and I played this role, but I'm gonna be remembered for a 2-second clip where I
yeah,
hold a giant comb in a desert and I say, we ain't found shit.
yeah. I was just like actually, if Jim, I have an idea.
Yeah. What?
I kind of have to buy a sticker with just a plaid background with the text on it ludicrous speed.
Yes.
But it has to be plaid because within the movie.
Well, I did see, when we looked up the merchandise yesterday, I did see Spaceballs the Magnet,
Yeah, but I want a sticker for
and
my
it was
car
stuck on
window.
a car.
Yeah, yeah. And I could put it in my interior because my interior has exposed as like bits of interior visible. However, a sticker on the rear window that just says ludicrous speed
On a 30s road.
in a Renault Twingo that shakes when you're doing 130 kilometers per hour, which would probably feel accurate to ludicrous speed.
Maybe.
Yeah. Shall I check the news app for more
I,
news?
I went from none to 3 movies that I'm excited for.
Yeah.
I'm okay. We also actually we do have also some news on the Elden Ring movie. They revealed the cast. Most of them I've never seen before. One of them is concerning.
Let me actually look it up.
One of them, I don't know her name. I'm terrible with names. But she is the actress that played one, like the main character in the Willow TV show. Which, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's a show that was so bad that so many people did not want to watch that Disney removed it from Disney Plus because it was more profitable to get rid of it.
Ouch.
It's a show set in a medieval fantasy setting where you have people walking around in printed t-shirts
Oh, that one.
in the background, where they run into just real modern like lumberjacks. A show where you see that the arrows are just made of plastic, and also she just goes on an adventure with 4 arrows, which that's a questionable choice.
A brave and foolish choice indeed.
And you might say, well, but that's all like the writers and the producers. Yeah, her acting, it was not great. It was not great. Maybe it was just the material. Maybe she just was like, this is so terrible. I'm not gonna try for this. But from the bits I've seen, it does not come across that way.
Yeah, we're gonna. It's gonna be a whole experience. The thing is, we're living in an age where video game franchises are getting movies, and indie animation is picking up.
Yes.
That's the age we're currently living in. So big studios, either like the big studios have to pivot towards the gaming industry in order to get movies out, and the and indie creators are hard at work making their own stuff that sometimes ends up in theaters.
Yeah. Nowadays it does.
Like, I'm very curious if the Mason Digital Circus finale is going to be here in the Netherlands as well.
I do think that's somewhat unlikely.
I have seen toys of it
But it
in
could
Dutch
be.
stores,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Well,
maybe
that
not.
to be honest, that doesn't say much.
Yeah, but like it might not be everywhere, but maybe a couple of them will pick it up. And I feel like if a couple of them, only a couple cinemas pick it up, those are going to be packed. Like, I think once one cinema announces it, a lot of have to follow just so they don't, just so there is enough space. Like the people, I feel like the people will watch it if it's in a cinema, but it's just also cinemas have gone quite expensive. Like it is just a case of having. I mean, if you were to, let's say you want like a 4DX ticket, you know, a ticket where your seat moves a little bit, and if it works, you have some water spraying on you. It's a great way to experience a movie, by the way. But one of those tickets is $20. That doesn't seem normal to me. That is $20. Well, it is a very fancy ticket, but I still feel like cinema should be quite cheap. And if you put indie movies in there as well, you might launch a couple of new creators. And if the cinema is going to be open anyway, then why not just let them watch the movies? Depending on, you might even be able to push out a whole series with that. If let's say you have like one episode like per 3 months, let's say one episode per month, then you could in theory do it all within a cinema. Just You have one episode that airs for a couple weeks. After that, it ends up on a streaming platform. Then 2 weeks later, another one appears in the cinemas for a couple weeks, and then it appears on a streaming service. And then that's for multiple seasons. Depending on how popular the series is, I feel like it could supply a cinema with a decent bunch of paying customers.
Possibly.
Wait, no.
What?
No.
What?
Why? Apparently a driving instructor has lost his license after telling a student to drive as hard as he can.
Again?
Like,
This has already happened before.
this news article is from today, 4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh
So it's a
my god.
fresh story. Well, he got
Why?
it all happened last week, but he got the way the law works on drive around learners here is the instructor's responsible. He's technically the driver of the car. Like that's the whole idea. And because they drove over 50 kilometers per hour too hard over speed limit, the driving instructor lost his license.
Okay. I mean, that's not surprising.
Yeah, and one other funny thing, if you do that, if you drive over 50 kilometers past the speed limit, if you want your driver's license back, you have to follow a mandatory course. So after following a mandatory course, then you're allowed back onto the road, probably learning not how not to speed, or being on the worst driver on a TV show. It's still a fun show to watch. It is surprising how bad drivers are. With the whole failure to use mirrors. Have any idea of how big a car is? Like, you should not trust them parking your car. I was about to say you should try and let them park without parking sensors, but even with parking sensors, they still hit stuff. Even with a reverse camera, they will still hit stuff. Modern cars give 360 view around the car. They will still hit stuff. That's how bad they are. And those people are on the same road as you. I always slightly get hurt when I see people driving or learning how to drive in an electric car. Like, modern cars have so many crutches basically on them. Like, you have lane keep assist, you have hill assist, you have start stop. Start stop is nice though if you stall, because you can just punch the clutch in again and go. But any older car, like, drive a 20-year-old car, you will not have a start stop system in the slightest. Parking sensors are optional. You have no lane keep assist, you have no hill assist. It's probably a manual, so you have to use your left leg when driving. Wow.
Okay.
You have to operate a clutch pedal. And shift gears manually. I mean, from what I've understood, there's nothing worse than like a automated manual from like the early 2000s, where it is basically a manual gearbox, but a computer does the shifting. It's often slow to react and very sluggish. Or a manual without a clutch. So you still have to do shifting. It's just that the car does the clutch for you. In theory, better. In reality, it just hurts. It's slow. It doesn't work on hills. Which is, automatics, they are nice to drive. I can't deny that. They're quite pleasant in their driving. But what I don't understand is some people's choice in buying, for example, a Tesla. Like, congratulations, you're driving a tablet with wheels. And with the full self-driving, which only like the only thing you have to do when you use full self-driving here in the Netherlands is you only have to keep an eye on the road. You don't even have to like keep your hand on the wheel, keep looking forward. You just have to pay attention to your surroundings. So I'm just going to be waiting for the news of a Tesla driving straight through a school zone, going over a bunch of suddenly appearing speed bumps, or more accurately, just the child-shaped speed bumps, and then it will immediately get banned again because the Tesla's full self-driving sucks. Like those,
Actually, I also saw somebody, because now that's apparently now legal in the Netherlands. Um, they got flashed. They were driving somewhere they were not allowed.
yeah. I think we're talking about the
So they
same
got a
thing.
bunch of fines.
Like a TV program showed it. It tried to stop on an on ramp onto the highway, and it got a ticket for driving like a bicycle lane because Tesla doesn't, it doesn't know the roads yet. That's a downside of self-driving. You have to train it. So the easiest way to train it is by having it, you know, drive over certain roads. And once it is driven over those roads, it recognizes it as a road to drive on and only allows the navigation to go through those roads. And you mark the areas that it isn't allowed to drive, which I think hasn't happened. Usually there should be like data in there with like blocked streets or like no-go zones where the car is not allowed to go. So when using navigation, it will just ignore those roads and take a different way. What else do we have?
Should, should we start ending it?
I just want to see if any oh yeah, apparently a singer called David. Well, it's spelled D4VD. So the scuffed
Okay.
version. He has pled not guilty to charges of the police finding a corpse in his trunk.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So his real name is David Burke, and he had a apparently a girl was gone missing in 2024, and they found her remains in September in the trunk of a Tesla, which was on his name. The body was
Um,
suspected to lay there for weeks, where they found it. Yeah, unless somebody got a hold of his data and then did it that way, where basically, well, I have your data now. I'm going to use that for to rent a car in your name and do criminal activities or buy a car in your name. But it it doesn't look good for him. Let's just keep it. Let's just put it at that. This is a case of all evidence points at him, pretty much. But yeah, with on that weirdly disturbing note, I'm going to say that we're not experts.
but we were here.